WISN 12 News.
Helping flood victims on the ground and from the air, dangling between power lines. Tonight, the search for where to put more victims rescued from Harvey.
Wisconsin to the rescue, the donations to our Red Cross helpline.
Plus, Pewaukee native J.J. Watt is using social media to raise millions of dollars.
We just passed $2 million. We're at $3.25 million right now. We just passed $4 million.
How his hometown is getting behind their favorite Houston Texan.
And a local cop turned violinist at a moment's notice. 12 News meets the fiddling officer.
First tonight, we want to get you up to speed. The latest on the situation unfolding in Texas. Right now, more than 9,000 evacuees are at Houston's downtown shelter. That is nearly double capacity. Churches and mosques are now stepping in to help, as officials estimate more than 1,000 people in Houston alone are still waiting for help.
There they are.
Oh my goodness.
We're coming to get you.
Oh my goodness.
We're coming to get you. I'm going to put this, I'll give you that microphone right
We'll
there.
just watch it.
Well, yeah,
as it happens.
let it play out, Jeff. And Jeff's going to, as he always does, and oh, there goes the video. It's frozen, but
There it is.
There it is, yeah. All of the reporters, they've been actively engaged in just trying to be involved in the story.
Oh,
Look
she's
at that.
hugging Jeff. I know, my goodness.
More than 13,000 people are saved tonight after rescues like the one you just saw. As we just showed you, it played out live on the air on Houston's ABC station, KTRK.
As much as we wanted to recover him last night, we could not put more officers at risk for what we knew in our hearts was going to be a recovery mission.
Overcome with emotion. As Harvey's death toll rises, 9 people are now confirmed dead. One of the victims is Houston Police Sergeant Steve Perez. Police say he was heading into work Sunday when he got trapped in high water and couldn't get out of his squad car.
More incredible images tonight. This is one of them. A mother and her baby pulled up to safety from a rooftop. The U.S. Coast Guard says the rescue happened today in the Houston area.
48 hours ago, we set out to raise 200 grand, and now we're over $4 million. So I've raised the goal to...
And he's at it again. Pewaukee native J.J. Watt is once again raising his fundraising goal, this time to $5 million.
Keep in mind, that's 25 times his original goal. As Kristen Byrne reports, the former Badger turned Houston Texan is turning to his hometown for help.
So this is a really wonderful thing that JJ and his parents are doing.
JJ Watt's social media posts
keep donating, keep spreading the word. youcaring.com/JJ Watt
have resulted in millions in cash donations. And this. A donation drive at Pewaukee High with piles of boxed food, plastic silverware, water, blankets, and more.
There's something we can do so we don't just sit there and cry and feel helpless.
His mom, Connie, helping organize it all.
I'm very shocked at how quickly and how fast it's grown.
J.J. Watt went to Pewaukee High School. In fact, his football jersey is displayed here at the Wall of Honor. Now living in Houston, Texas, even though his home there saw minor damage from Harvey, he is seeing the exact same images we are seeing on TV, and he wanted to do something to help.
And so do others, like this mom and her 3 boys.
We just talked about what happened and how it would feel if they were in that situation, and we looked for the things on the list that they said they needed.
Later this week, the goods will be loaded up on a semi and driven to Texas. Delivery, though, could be tricky.
There's definitely outlying locations that aren't as, obviously underwater, but that's where the people are trying to escape to. We are very happy to logistically figure it out on his behalf.
You have until tomorrow afternoon to drop off donations. JJ himself plans to pass out supplies Sunday. In Pewaukee, Kristen Byrne, WISN 12 News.
It's an incredible effort. The J.J. Watt Foundation also has donation drives going on in Madison and Janesville. Our website, WISN.com, has a list of what's needed at each location.
Marquette's athletes, too, are answering the call. Members of the men's basketball staff today packed up team gear to be sent to Houston. This after the coach of the men's basketball team at the University of Houston sent out a tweet. He asked athletic programs across the country to send a small donation of their program's attire, shirts and shoes, for those who need them. Houston's mayor is imposing a curfew tonight at midnight. The city is also opening a second major shelter. Now the Toyota Center, home of the Houston Rockets, is starting to take in evacuees. ABC's Lana Zach is in Houston, where Harvey's toll is mounting.
For the first time since Harvey roared into town, the sun peeked out of Houston's sky for just a few minutes. It It was a brief moment of hope after 5 days of record-breaking rain and devastation. There have been at least 9 confirmed deaths, including Houston police officer Steve Perez. He drowned in floodwaters just 2 days shy of his 61st birthday.
We couldn't find him. Once our dive team got there, it was too treacherous to go under and look for him.
The official tally of rescues topping 13,000, but the actual number could even be higher. And still the calls for rescue continue to pour in. More than 1,000 in Houston are still waiting for help.
It's all the way up to the roofs, guys, up to the eaves. I hate to think that there are people in these houses.
Linda says she was stranded in her car with rising floodwaters for 2 days.
All I can say is there are angels out here.
Here in Houston, donations are pouring in by the truckload, and yet there is more need.
Can't imagine it. You know, it's gut-wrenching. It touches you to the core. You know, what can I do for my neighbor?
Many shelters beyond initial capacity.
We went from 5,000 to 9,000 in just a few hours' time. We're encouraging people, if they need shelter, to come here and seek shelter. We may not have all of the amenities for them, like a cot.
And in New Orleans, residents all too familiar with floods are once again using sandbags on the 12th anniversary of Katrina.
Brought back a lot of memories. It really evoked a lot of emotions and heartbreak.
The mayor of New Orleans said that no city welcomed more of their people following Katrina than Houston. And it's heartbreaking to know that some of the evacuees now had suffered through that disaster as well. Reporting from Houston, Lana Zach, ABC News.
What a coincidence between Katrina and now Harvey. And we know that Harvey broke a rain record that stood for 39 years. Lindsay, where do those rain totals stand now?
Well, see, that record was previously held by a tropical cyclone Amelia that was back in 1978 with 48 inches of rain. So that was broken today. You can see some of the rainfall totals. I mean, these are huge. 51.88 inches in Cedar Bayou, Texas earlier today. And this was actually as of 3 p.m. So that number is still higher than that. We're still collecting more data. South Houston, 43 inches, Pasadena, 42. And then we can't forget about Louisiana. They're getting pounded. Some areas in Louisiana have gotten over 17 to 18 inches of rain. And you can see just to the west of Lake Charles, finally, the rain is moving east of Houston, but now it is kind of lingering in areas in Louisiana. And again, Patrick, these are also areas that just can't handle this amount of rain. Nowhere can, to be honest.
And Lindsay, right now we have another incredible number to share. We can tell you, though, this one is positive. Thanks to your generosity, the American Red Cross has an additional $137,375 to help people impacted by Harvey. That's how much our viewers donated during today's Harvey Helpline. One day alone, the money will help in a number of ways, such as food, water, shelter, toiletries, even home cleaning supplies.
This is the way we are in the Midwest. We open our hearts for everyone who needs us, and this is going to help so many people down there, and that's what we should do.
Again, all that raised in one day. The generosity is amazing. Thank you to everyone who called in to donate today. We also learned tonight that 72 Red Cross volunteers from Wisconsin are now down south helping storm victims. In ABC News, we'll take a closer look at Harvey's devastation tomorrow, a special edition of 2020 City Underwater Catastrophe in Houston. Airs tomorrow at 9 right here on WISN 12.
In Milwaukee, a trip to the ATM ends in gunfire. Police say an armed robber targeted a man who had just made a withdrawal from a cash machine near 60th and Stack. Well, it turns out the suspect's only weapon was a rock, which he threw at the victim's head. And that's when the victim turned the tables, pulling his own gun. Several neighbors saw it all play out in their front yards last night.
I was just outside getting my dog, and then you just hear the shot, and then I see this guy falling right in front of me. I didn't know where the shot came from. And then he was right there, so it scared me.
Police haven't made any arrests yet. The district attorney will review the case to decide if the victim was justified in pulling the trigger. A $25,000 reward is now being offered to solve a triple murder at a racetrack in Kenosha. The FBI is putting up the money. 3 men from Aurora, Illinois were gunned down at Larry's Fun Fest at the Great Lakes Dragaway on August 13th. More than 5,000 people were at that event. The FBI says anyone with information should contact police.
State of addiction coverage and a staggering statistic. The medical examiner's office says in less than 2 years, they've investigated the deaths of 8 children under the age of 5 from opioid overdoses. They posted it to Twitter. The tweet comes in response to a comment made by Attorney General Jeff Sessions during his visit to Green Bay today. The AG said more children are being endangered more than ever from the opioid epidemic.
Our country, despite the record deaths, I don't think has fully recognized the damage this addiction nightmare is doing to us.
Milwaukee County is nearing 300 overdose deaths this year. The medical examiner's office says it responded to the 296 probable overdose death today. A 45-year-old man who died at a home near 107th and Mill Road. The ME says the man had recently been released from a drug treatment programs.
Police and wildlife officials are putting out a warning tonight for pet owners. During this time of year, the Department of Natural Resources says young coyotes are venturing out into new, often more populated areas. The Wauwatosa Police Department is urging pet owners to take extra precautions.
At night, 10 o'clock at night, 5, 6 in the morning, just before you go to bed and you let your dogs out to do their business before everyone goes to bed, go outside with your pets.
People living near wooded areas have a greater risk of a run-in with a coyote. The DNR says if that happens, you should try to scare the animal away by throwing something, yelling, or by waving your arms.
Tonight, mustache watch. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is once again rocking a thick preseason stash. There it is on full display as he walked onto the practice field today. You like that, Lindsay? Rodgers has done this before, starting off with a beard that he trims down before the start of the season. So we'll just have to see if the stash remains when the season opens just 12 days from now against the Seahawks. Lots of talk today about his mustache.
It almost looks like a stick-on.
It is big and bushy. Well, we're learning more about a very talented police officer.
Tonight, we meet the fiddling officer and how he's mixing two lifelong passions.
A couple lost everything to Hurricane Harvey, but one small gain is making a lot of that go away.
And pizza delivery without the driver. The company's working together to make that happen.